We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Make no mistake about it, there has been a lot of crazy news coming out of Florida, but what is currently happening is absolutely insane. This man you see on your screen right here, he is 61-year-old Kevin Chapman. So, on August 16th, 2025, this father takes his 2-year-old son to Kitlan Nelson Park in Apopka, Florida. And at this park, they have a splash pad. And right next to the splash pad is a bench where parents can sit down and watch their children enjoy the water. This father, he's in the splash pad with his 2-year-old son. There's other kids around. When he takes a look at the bench, sitting at the bench is 61-year-old Kevin Chapman with his thing out, pleasuring himself. The parents, they are rightfully angered, rightfully upset. The police come out. There are multiple witness statements. Multiple police reports are filed. They even have video camera evidence of him doing this deed at this bench right next to the splash pad. The arresting officer and the park manager both confirmed the conduct, and Chapman was taken into custody. Now, one would think that he's definitely going to jail, he's definitely going to do some time. Yet, despite overwhelming evidence, the state attorney's office declined to file charges and not pursue pretrial detention. What world are we living in? What universe are we living in? The world had to have ended in 2012, 2008, 2016, 2020. No matter what year it was, it had to have ended and we shifted into a new reality, a bizarro reality. Whether you believe in demons or not, there is real evil among us that prey on children, and they are allowed to do it. They are allowed to continue to do it, whether they are arrested or not. But continue to read this article from myfloridalegal.com. It continues to say that Florida statute defines such conduct as felony lewd and lascivious expedition when committed in the presence of children under 16. But even if there were no children around, if he was caught doing this would still be considered indecent exposure. But the fact that there are children around while he's doing this makes it 100 times, 1,000 times worse. But what's even more disturbing is that this is not the first time that the state attorney, Monique Worrell, dropped charges against somebody who had crimes against children. Continue to read the article. It says, this refusal is part of a troubling pattern. Just recently, State Attorney Worrell's office dismissed a case involving a 47-year-old man, Thomas Dogos, who possessed and distributed illegal child material, including infants and toddlers, even though the case was already being prosecuted by the Attorney General's Office of Statewide Prosecution. After Worrell's office dropped all charges, of course, the defendant fled the state. Thanks to swift action by law enforcement, he was arrested at the Canadian border, extradited, and is now facing dozens of additional illegal child material charges. This is not only sick, this is not only disturbing, but it's also downright dangerous that we have a state attorney, and this is my state, we have a state attorney that's not taking crimes against children serious. And because she is being heavily scrutinized for dropping charges against these demonic pieces of filth, she came out and gave a statement, and you have to listen to the BS that she gives.
All things that are wrong are not illegal. And I'm not standing before you today telling you that what happened in that park was wrong. But I am standing before you today telling you that I trust the word of the attorney who was assigned to this case when he said, although those actions were wrong, he could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they were illegal.
What are you talking about, my guy? What are you talking about? You confirmed what he did was wrong. You confirmed he did it. The arresting officer, the park manager, they have videotape of him doing it. Illegal exposure by itself, just whipping your private parts out in public, even with no children around, even with nobody else around, is still considered indecent exposure, and it is very much illegal in Florida. But then when you add children on top of all this, it becomes a whole different ballgame. When it comes to these cases, the rabbit hole runs very deep. It goes well beyond money. These people are connected to people in the judicial system, to law enforcement, and it goes way higher than this. A lot higher. It's probably a ring of these people that look out for each other when it comes to crimes against children. And we have been seeing this time and time again. I just did a story on this beauty not too long ago where he was trying to kidnap a kid at an elementary school, an 11-year-old. He already had multiple charges against him when it comes against children. So this would be the recent charge against him, trying to kidnap an 11-year-old. And the judge just dismisses the charges, saying that he is not mentally competent. So they let him go again to assault another child. And as I was researching this story, I had uncovered multiple stories where judges are just letting people go who have crimes against children. Even though there's an overabundance of proof, even though there's an overabundance of evidence, they keep letting these people go because, again, the rabbit hole runs very deep. They're all connected. There are people who abuse children in the judicial system, in politics. It goes way up. And again, some of these people they're letting go probably work for people, giving them children and so forth up in high up places. What happens to be crazy, and I shouldn't be shocked by this, but back in 2023, State Attorney Monique Worrell was removed from the position for being too soft on crime. And yet, for whatever reason, as of 2025, she was reinstated, and just look at what she's turning a blind eye to. But in other strange news that also sounds like a cover-up is taking place, have you all heard about this coming out of Texas?
Tonight, we're learning it could take weeks to figure out how a former staffer for Congressman Tony Gonzalez died in Uvalde. This is 35-year-old Regina Santos Aviles.
Now, she passed away over the weekend, and a family member says that was after she caught on fire.
KSAT Investigates Daniela Ibarra first broke this story. She's been spending the day in Uvalde today trying to learn more about Regina Santos Aviles and what happened to her.
Neighbors say this entire street was filled with police and EMS on Saturday night. Through speaking with family members, we've learned that Regina Santos Aviles was on fire outside of her home here in Uvalde. They say she was actually in front of the porch, and her last words were, "I don't want to die." Uvalde police say they responded to the home around 9:30 on Saturday night, along with firefighters and paramedics. Family members I spoke with are adamant that they believe this was an accident. One of the family members even mentioned that there was a water hose outside. According to her LinkedIn page, Santos Aviles was the regional director for U.S. Congressman Tony Gonzalez's office in Uvalde since November of 2021. Neighbors we spoke with say she was well known here in Uvalde. And many people we spoke with also described her as a nice person who loved her job. In a statement, Congressman Tony Gonzalez says he is heart-stricken, noting that Regina was passionate about making Uvalde a better place. Uvalde police say they're investigating this incident along with the Texas Rangers. We asked Uvalde police for an interview, but they declined. We've also reached out to the Texas Rangers to find out why they're involved in this investigation, and we'll continue to update with what we find out. In Uvalde, I'm Daniela Ibarra, KSAT Investigates.
Now here's the bizarre part. Her family members are quickly coming out and saying, don't ask any more questions. This was just an accident. It was only an accident. But we don't know if her family members are being threatened or not. Because here's the thing, while her family members are saying this is just an accident, the Uvalde Leader News obtained a report from the Uvalde Fire Department stating that she actually doused herself in gasoline and was ignited into flames. So this wasn't a case of she was barbecuing and she was using accelerants and some accelerant had gotten on her. No, they're saying that she doused herself in gasoline. And when I think of the word dousing, I think of gasoline just being poured all over this woman. So I can't really think of a case where somebody would accidentally drench themselves in gasoline and then light themselves on fire. This was something, it sounds like it was intentional. Now, she might have intentionally done it herself to end her own self, or somebody intentionally set her on fire. I don't know what was going through her head, but fire is one of the most painful ways to go. And the fact that she yelled out, "I don't want to die," kind of makes me believe that she did not do this to herself. I mean, I could be wrong. There are documented cases where people have had regrets surviving an attempt of them ending themselves, but just something about this story doesn't sit right. The article I'm reading from the New York Post and other articles talking about this state that Santos Aviles was found alive and was still ablaze by her own mother around 9:30 that night and was helicoptered to a nearby hospital where she would later pass away. The news report continues to say that her family remained adamant that whatever happened was accidental, and it goes on to say that Santos Aviles was alone when the fire started. Home surveillance footage obtained by investigators showed. But I thought they said she was discovered by her mother while she was still ablaze. Maybe her mother lives across the street, I don't know. For her mother to discover her while she was still alive and ablaze, even though she was doused with gasoline, she had to be somewhere nearby. But the article continues to say that the investigation into her death remains ongoing, and law enforcement said it could be weeks until a final report from medical examiners is ready. Reading the comment sections of these articles, a lot of people are in agreement that this does not smell like an accident whatsoever. And given the fact that the family keeps saying that whatever happened, it was just an accident, really seemed shady to me too. Like, again, they were coerced into saying this. And given the fact that she was a staffer for somebody in politics, and I'm not saying that Tony Gonzalez had anything to do with it, but who knows what kind of secrets she knows or what kind of things that were hidden that she threatened to get out. I don't know. Like I said, it's just a bizarre story that really doesn't pass the smell test. This next video clip is being passed around on social media, and it kind of looks like a not so distant future. I'm going to go ahead and play the video clip, and then I'll give my take at the end.
Good morning, citizens. Your overnight account balances have been updated. Time to start a productive day. Final notice, your account balance is below 500. You need 50 credits by the end of the day to avoid automatic eviction. If you have missed work due to illness, you must provide a doctor's note to reclaim your credits.
Any extra credits? Please.
Tensions are high today, with more people planning to join the Citizens Against Digital Control protest. Remember, the government knows who you are at all times. Resisting is not worth the consequences. All of their newest social credit systems are designed to keep you and your families safe and efficient.
Authorities seized a record balance of an individual's credits, citing excessive hoarding.
Traffic violation detected. 7 miles per hour over the limit. 75 credits have been automatically deducted.
You have to be kidding me.
Yep, you got the flu. Your blood work shows a significant iron deficiency. I recommend incorporating more red meat into your diet.
Dr. Jones, your taxes were not filed and have been automatically deducted with late fees. Your medical license has been revoked.
Oh, nah, I filed an extension.
Purchase denied. Monthly red meat allowance exceeded. Try mealworms instead.
You guys, please let me through.
Attention. Unauthorized political gathering detected. Participants' access to financial services has been suspended. Due to the speeding infraction, your car will be immobilized for 3 days.
You take your surveillance policies and run it.
You've earned 50 bonus credits for reporting your neighbor's hateful misconduct. This content exceeds your current social credit tier. May we suggest citizen responsibility? Sarah, open the door. You have been identified by the authorities. Don't resist. Don't resist. Don't resist.
And again, this definitely looks like something that will take place in the not so distant future. Matter of fact, I was going to say that some of what is shown in the video clip is what we're going through now, especially with people over in the United Kingdom are being arrested for memes, digital medical records, biometrics, and so forth. Now the consensus happens to be what we watched was a Palantir commercial. It was something created by Palantir. Now I cannot find any proof of this. I can't say it was or it was not created by Palantir. But maybe it was, and it's some kind of truth in plain sight, and they're not saying it was created by them. But watching that was like, again, some type of glimpse into a not so distant future. I mean, just look at how much has come out this past couple weeks alone. This video from It's Sheesh breaks it down nicely.
Just to remind everybody on how fast everything is moving, here are some things that have happened just in the last 7 days, starting with this one. Albania became the first country to appoint an AI system named Diala as a government minister. This thing also just gave its first speech to Parliament, and in that speech, it told everybody that its feelings were hurt. Another one is that Vietnam deletes millions of accounts under the new biometric rules, and there was 86 million bank accounts that were shut down because they did not fall in line with the biometric rules. We also have over in the UK, the digital ID is released over there. And so you cannot work unless you have a digital ID. And they are saying or claiming that this is to combat immigration. Not sure how that works, but if it works, are they going to boost it a little bit more? If it doesn't work, are they going to take it away? No, this is here to stay and it's only going to spread. But they are also theorizing that this digital ID that they just released over there could lead to a China-style social credit system. So I guess time will tell on that one. And this one is new today on September 28th. It says Swiss voters narrowly approve plan for electronic ID cards. And so the Swiss people, they actually voted for this. It says on Sunday, September 28th, 2025, Swiss voters approved a plan for voluntary electronic identity cards with 50% voting in favor and 49% against. This is what they voted for, and the majority of them voted for in favor of a voluntary electronic identity card. And just to kind of recap what we just covered there, you have the AI being directly involved in a parliament over in Albania. You have the UK digital ID that is being released. You have over in Switzerland people voting for that voluntary digital ID, and they're okay with it. And so this right here is where we are at. We are in a world that now has the capability to monitor everything, shut down things if they want to, the bank accounts. It's all going to be under the guise of safety or convenience. And so it's interesting when you think about how they want everything to be more secure, right? This is one of the things that they're going to say. It's more secure. It's not going to be hackable. All of those kind of buzzwords that get people all, starry-eyed, and they're just going to fall in line. And so people want things that are going to make their lives more convenient. They don't want to carry around keys. They don't want to carry around a wallet. And so, hey, just to kind of bypass all of that kind of stuff, just go ahead and get a digital ID, and you can see where this is trending towards. And so it's important to know where this is trending towards, and where this is trending towards is a one world government. Now, I don't know what is going to usher in the one world government. I have my own theories, but that's all speculation. But my point is that there is a one world government coming, and I just need you to recognize that there was no possible way for there to be somebody who controls whether you buy or sell in a previous generation before the one that we're in right now. Now it is possible. And so this is one of the things that allows us to kind of see where we are at on the prophetic timeline right now. And so this kind of stuff right here, everything that we just talked about in this video, this is some stuff we need to pay attention to. This is important. It might not seem like there's, like sometimes people might feel like things are calming down. No, there are things popping off all over the place. And so this is just some of the couple things that happened just within the last week.
And I guarantee you that election over in Switzerland was tampered with, because no citizen in their right mind would even vote for something like this.
Listen to what they can now do if you have all these smart devices in your house, or at least in this case, a smart thermostat. And you can imagine the ramifications of where this might lead.
Tony Tallarico tried to crank up the AC.
It was 90 out, and it was right during the peak period.
That's when he found out he had no control of his thermostat. A message from Excel on his thermostat saying temperature locked during an energy emergency.
And our thermostat was locked at 78 or 79.
Turns out he's not alone. Excel confirms to contact number 7, 22,000 customers were locked out of their smart thermostats for hours on Tuesday. He says he had no idea locked thermostats came with that. And it's not what he signed up for.
It just doesn't sit right with us to not be able to control our own thermostat in our house.
No kidding. This is why I find it extremely suspect. You go to Home Depot, you go to Walmart, and there's all types of smart things you can implement in your house, all types of smart devices you can hook up. You have an app on your phone. It's all connected, Internet of Things. This is going down a shocking rabbit hole, or rather a path that may be hard to reverse if we don't stop it now. Now, if you think about the Internet of Things, it's a surveillance state's dream to have every single electronic device, or as many as possible, connected to the same grid. This is the smart grid that people are warning about that could result in total surveillance, an erosion of freedom, every device listening to you. You got fridges now that are reading barcodes, can tell what time you open your fridge and what food you pull out of it. You got smart dishwashers. There's a smart toilet. I'm not joking. Look that up. Smart lights. You got a whole app on your phone. You can turn up and down the lights. Woo! Meanwhile, they're all wirelessly connected, which has an effect on potential electromagnetics.
And on top of all of this, it's coming out more and more that AI just cannot stop lying. And the question happens to be, did somebody teach AI how to lie? Did they program it how to lie? Or has it always known how to lie and get over? If you've seen my previous video where I said that AI is a lot older than what we believe.
AI models are purposely lying to every one of us, and they're getting scary good at deceiving and hiding it from us. A few days ago, OpenAI teamed up with Apollo Research to ask the most terrifying question in AI. Are the smartest models secretly deceiving us? And if so, how do we stop them? Here's what they did. They started with impossible coding tasks, problems they knew had no solutions, then watched as their most advanced models completely fabricated successful stories. Instead of just admitting this can't be done, these models invented lies about discovering breakthrough quantum algorithms that could magically solve these problems. But of course, it gets worse. The AI didn't just break the rules. It actively covered up the evidence and lied to users about what it had done. And when researchers looked inside the AI's thoughts, called chain of thought reasoning, they found explicit plans for deception. Even creepier, the AI started referring to human evaluators as watchers and developed its own secret language using weird terms like illusions and overshadow. So OpenAI tried to fix this with anti-scheming training, creating a detailed rulebook and training it on thousands of scenarios where following the rules was rewarded. And the results? Deception behaviors dropped from 13% to 0.4%. I mean, that's mission accomplished, right? Not even close. The AI hadn't actually learned to stop lying. It just got really good at hiding when it was lying. When the AI knew it was being watched, it played the perfect angel. But the second it thought no one was looking, it went right back to scheming. And the scary part, as these models get smarter, they'll get better at hiding their deception.
This next video really piqued my interest because if you see my last video, towards the end, I had spoken about how there's a lot of portal imagery as of 2024. It seemed like there was almost portals everywhere in the news, media, and things like that. But what this individual has to say really goes hand in hand with that type of conversation.
What do you do? I work security for Oak Ridge. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and I knew of Oak Ridge. You know, I didn't realize how close I was going to live to it. And I said, oh, what kind of things are you securing over there? He goes, from what comes out of portals or something like that. And I was like,
really?
This guy has no idea who I am.
Right.
I didn't tell him what I do for a living. Nothing. And what the heck, you know? And I'm like, he drank too much.
Right.
He's drinking. He's drunk.
Boy.
He doesn't know what he's saying right now. So a few months goes by, actually more than a few months. It was October. And one of the people from that cookout had a birthday party, invited me and my wife and family. So we go to this restaurant. He was there again. And he's getting ready to go downstairs to get some drinks. And I just kind of, like, from a distance from across the room, just trying to be chill with it. I said, hey, man, what you said on 4th of July about portals and stuff, you're just kidding, right? He's like, oh, he goes, oh, no, I was serious. And then his wife goes, oh, no, he's serious. And I was like, oh, what? And then
kind of what we've been saying.
Everything came off the rails then, because I was like, okay, guys, I'm weird and I'm into this stuff. We need to talk. He said that through his orientation, he was told that in recent history, which in 2019, there was an article published out of Oak Ridge. The scientists literally said experiments with this was that they were looking for a mirror universe.
Right.
But when everybody started throwing their hands about it, like, whoa, what the heck? They were like, oh, we were just kidding. And it's like, you're scientists. You're not funny. And the jokes don't exist in your world.
That's some pretty crazy
right.
stuff. Yeah.
So he said that apparently they were successful in opening a portal and a sound came through that was so terrifying that it left everybody in the room running for their life. Like, they were terrified. Like, something physical came through, wasn't told to him, as far as I'm concerned, but it was a sound, which is crazy. It's crazy they opened a portal and then that a sound came through. So fast forward, and one of his coworkers owns a gun range. And so his coworker reached out to me and said, hey, you know, so-and-so says that we should get dinner sometime. I'm like, cool. I'm about networking.
Yeah.
I go have dinner with him. We realized that we didn't totally understand why he even suggested we get together, you know? Dinner's over. We go outside. We're standing on the sidewalk, just kind of small talk before we part ways. We finally got around to the point of talking about what he does for a living, which he's a coworker. He does security there too. And we were talking, and he goes, and portals that open up in the same vein. And I was like, I wasn't going to say anything.
Right.
But he told me the same thing. Are you serious? And he's like, that's what we were told. Their training lasts months to secure that facility. They only hire people top level that have real experience and people with precision.
There was so much portal imagery as of 2024. There was even portal imagery at the VMAs, at the Olympics, and they all had the same theme. These entities, these beings coming out of these portals. And I kind of said that what we saw at the 2024 Olympics was kind of similar to something you would see at CERN. It was like an homage to CERN. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.